You're watching The Movie Surgeon. Like and subscribe for more juicy content. The Kissing Booth 2 came out on Netflix this week, and sadly, I watched all of it. If you haven't seen my review on the first one, I suggest you go back and watch that and then come back here. But if you have, you'll know that I concluded that it was basically a movie about a controlling psychopath who gets away with his violent outbursts because he's good looking. I also said this: I've just watched the trailer for Kissing Booth 2, and it looks like it's going to be the exact same story, but with one more soulless Chad. Mostly, I was correct. In this movie, we have the return of our cast: Jacob Elordi as Logan Paul, Joe King as Elle, Joel Courtney as Lee, and the others. We also have the introduction of two new characters, the surprisingly pleasant Marco and the excruciatingly unlikable Chloe. I described the Kissing Booth 1 as being not awful, and I think I'll describe the second film as being a tiny bit better than the first one, and that's being pretty kind. Spoilers. From this point onwards, there will be juicy spoilers. To start off my long list of criticisms about the movie, I'd like to point out that it goes on for way too long. If a film is 2 hours and 15 minutes, you need to be able to justify that, and the movie needs to bring something special which is actually worth sticking around for, which this doesn't. The first part of the film in particular is incredibly repetitive in comparison to the first movie. I appreciate a sequel paying homage to the film that came before it. Sometimes it's nice to get a little reminder to get you back into the swing of things, but with Kissing Booth 2, an uncomfortably long amount of time at the start is literally almost shot for shot the same as the first movie, and it just becomes extremely boring. And if that wasn't bad enough, again, we've got another lengthy voiceover to start off the film, which recaps the mind-numbingly boring things Elle has been up to since we last saw her. And as for the movie's overall plot, it is essentially the same as the first movie. Elle goes against one of the rules that her and Lee made up when they were 6, rule number 19, and she doesn't know what to do about falling in love with some idiot from her school. And it's at this point that I'd just like to say that in Kissing Booth 2, they say rule number 19 is always go to the same school as your bestie. But if you look at rule 19 as it was written in Kissing Booth 1, it clearly says Sorry, this is the only reference to the list I could find in the first movie, but you get my point. This new rule has just been made up for the second movie. They're making it up as they go along. It's a classic sequel thing where they just make up something new that definitely wasn't present in the first movie, just so that they can carry on the story. It looks like Netflix responded to the criticisms of Noah that were made in response to the character in the first movie, because, you know, he wasn't very nice. His character has been rewritten to be, I guess, a bit less explosively angry and a bit more caring, like a bit. And the whole movie attempts to be more of a romance than a movie about a creep controlling a girl. And I'd like to emphasize the word attempts. Noah's arc? Noah's story arc is bizarre. At first he's really needy, and we see hints of his controlling nature as he literally calls the school during Elle's class to speak to her after she doesn't respond to 2 texts in a very short space of time. Their relationship seems a bit unsure and strained because of distance, which I guess can happen, so I'm not really going to critique that. But what really throws me off the story is that they've introduced this new character from Noah's new college, Chloe. Noah's relationship with her is just weird, and in the movie he seems to just go from being needy to being sneaky and just plain horrible, for no reason other than an attempt at making a plot, to then being needy and in love again towards the end of the film. It looks like there's trouble for Elle as the OMG girls tell her that long distance means that breakups are automatic, and that there's nice girls at Harvard, so she needs to watch out. Only God knows how Noah got into Harvard. It seems like in movies like this, Harvard is a lot easier to get into than you might think. I reckon my dog could get into Harvard in this universe. After a little while, Elle becomes aware of Noah's new friend Chloe. She becomes a bit jealous, which I guess is perfectly natural, but then when Elle decides to actually go and visit Noah at Harvard, things get a bit weird. Once Noah's done throwing signs at people, he takes Elle out to see his new pals, at which point Elle is introduced to Chloe. Look at how Noah greets Chloe.
Hello, gorgeous. It's so good to see you.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Come on.
What the fuck, Richard?
Filthy, disgusting, get a room. And to make things worse, Chloe is an absolutely unbearable human being. She is a cliche, annoying girl that girls don't like their boyfriends to hang out with. She's stereotypically perfect in every way, and even for me, I find her English accent unbelievably annoying. Look at this. Everyone's gawping over her, but she's just pretentious, two-dimensional, and serves no purpose other than being a figure placed in the film to threaten Elle. As if meeting Chloe wasn't bad enough, Noah continues to make things worse by going to a concert with Chloe and pretending he went with his friends. Great idea. There's a dance competition where Elle is caught kissing Marco, which she shouldn't have done, but at this point, as far as she's concerned, Noah had a new girlfriend. After this, Noah brings Chloe to the annual family Thanksgiving dinner where Elle and her family are, as if she is his girlfriend. Then during the dinner, Chloe sits and gives Elle bitchy looks. Now the reason I'm highlighting how horrible Chloe and Noah are is because at the end of the movie, Chloe does this whole speech about how her and Noah are best friends, and how she came to that Thanksgiving dinner because Noah wanted her to meet Elle and for them to become friends, and that it had all been one big misunderstanding, and that Chloe is the only girl who isn't charmed by our favourite psychopath and doesn't present any sort of threat at all. Elle's just like, great, well, my bad, big misunderstanding, I'll just go and get back together with Noah then, shall I? As if Chloe hasn't been a threat this entire time. Chloe, throughout this entire 2-hour horror show, has helped Noah to make Elle's life a misery, and I'm supposed to believe that she's actually really nice and Elle just misread the situation. So they've made Elle's very legitimate concerns out to just be paranoia, when actually she was just responding to some very strange behaviour. Then wrapped up in all this rubbish is poor Marco, who, as I said earlier, is surprisingly actually quite likeable. Based on the trailer, I went into the movie expecting him to be even more unlikable than Noah, if that's somehow even possible. But he was the only character in the movie that actually comes across as normal. I was actually rooting for Elle to choose him. As I mentioned earlier, it felt like maybe the filmmakers had got the memo from the last one, and realised that Elle was in a controlling and potentially abusive relationship with Noah, and that she might find real love with our boy Marco. He's genuinely nice, has a bit of a personality, we don't see any violent outbursts, they have similar hobbies, and she even says at the end that she has feelings for him. But no, she's just going to go back to Noah, who has been acting as if he has a different girlfriend throughout the entire length of the movie. I guess I've also got to talk about Lee and his stupid, forgettable girlfriend Rachel. Their relationship is further developed in this one, depending on your definition of developed. But to Lee's surprise, his girlfriend doesn't like it when he acts like she doesn't exist and spends all of his time and attention on his female best friend. In this movie, it's like Lee is purposely trying to annoy her. Like, how does he forget that he's supposed to be meeting her at the cinema because he was just dicking around in an arcade? Then again, he forgets to tell her about the Halloween costume change. Maybe Lee would have an easier time remembering his girlfriend if she was actually developed as a character and had some interesting things about her. Like maybe a personality, or some hobbies, or a cat, or something. I didn't mind Lee in the first movie. He seemed like a nice guy, but I just found him a bit more annoying in this one. Him and Elle was still doing their weird rules thing, and he was just a bit of a dick the whole movie. His girlfriend is about as interesting as a brick wall, but there was no reason to be treating her like crap like he did. The end of the movie sucks. Elle completely ignores the perfectly nice guy to get back together with the manipulative maniac, completely ignoring all of his red flags. It was also left on a cliffhanger with Elle asking what college she should go to, and you know what that means. They're thinking about making a third movie. Hello, it's me editing this video a few days after recording. Just want to point out that Netflix have literally just announced a third movie coming in 2021, and it looks like they've already finished filming. So yeah, third one incoming, woohoo. So to sum up The Kissing Booth 2, it nearly redeems itself and nearly puts Elle in a more healthy relationship, but fails because she chooses to go with the knob. Apart from that, it's extremely repetitive, features underdeveloped and boring characters who I don't care about, a plot that annoys me, and is filled with the same cliches as the first movie, and therefore brings absolutely nothing new to the high school romance genre. If I was to rate this film, I'd give it a solid, no, out of, Oh, lovely. What a lovely film that is. Thank you for watching. If you haven't seen my review of the first Kissing Booth, you know what to do. And if you're new here, you also know what to do. Please hit subscribe and check out my channel to see my other content. Also, turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye. Goodbye. Bye now. Thanks, bye. Oh, goodbye.